All right, Jesse. How's it going?
Good, good. Everything good in Walter's world or what?
Nice, nice. You're out in Calgary, right? And we've been working for the past few months. I think I reached out to you last fall,
Yeah, probably would have been mid to late October.
mid to late October, and since then we've been cooperating. What's your overall general feedback for everything we've done so far?
Well, we started, if you remember, with the deal you guys had. You're doing a little bit of a different format. We carried on for a couple of months doing that format,
Mm-hmm.
and then we switched over into you taking care of me directly
Yep.
with the fee and then the ads through your own system. And then that's really where it changed. But I think our business ideals changed. We wanted somebody. We didn't want to do it ourselves and hold that cost. We wanted somebody to take that over for us. So you were a way to keep things affordable, but to also get those leads and quality leads in. So the first month was good, and we've continued on upping the leads and upping everything from that point of February to this month.
From February to this month. Now we've got April 8th. So far, how would you describe the biggest kind of change in your business development? What was the biggest kind of leap?
Well, I mean, it's it's not like, because a lot of people will build a website, they'll build all these things to get leads. The scenario that we're in is that we have the leads, we have to figure out the processes while we have the leads to facilitate those leads. So it's actually the opposite problem of most companies, where they build the processes to facilitate getting leads. We already have the leads, so we almost have to build around the leads, which in my experience is a very good problem to have.
Very good. So basically, we did load you up with enough jobs so you can keep the lights on and keep going.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit more than that. Like we could actually keep it sustainable now. I mean, even if you're at a closing ratio of 10%, at a 75 or 50 leads, I mean, you're closing 5 jobs, quality jobs. I mean, these jobs that we're closing are anywhere from $6,000 to $10,000 profit, right? So,
Pretty
and
soon.
that's just from you. Mm-hmm.
Well, that's those are really good numbers then.
Yeah. Oh, it is good numbers. Yep.
So you do see the significant change between how it used to be for you before we started cooperation and now, right?
Yeah. Well, it's night and day.
Night and day. That's very good.
Night and day.
Do you want to share with me what kind of cost was involved to begin with till these days? What you were, what in terms of the investment, what did you do, and what kind of results you're getting now? If you're comfortable
So
sharing
what
that.
I'll tell you is, originally when we started working, we were pay for leads, right? If you remember that system that you had. So my original game plan, because I handle sales and marketing for the company,
Yeah.
my original game plan was to utilize you as training wheels in that type of business setting, then to move over to our own leads generator. And what I had found is, I interviewed around 15 guys for that position. I ended up giving a trial period to a guy for a month. I think it wasn't overly expensive. It was around $1,700, I think, all in all. His fee was $1,000, and then we paid $750.
Hmm.
And that was an absolute waste of time, because the problem is that you have to build the analytics in that time. And so our analytics, and because of some amateur things that he had done in the time, wasn't building at all, right?
Yeah.
So why it's night and day is that, for me to build it myself, the amount of time I have to wait for these analytics to build up to actually be successful, when you already have a system with years and years of analytics already built up. So that is, not only is it analytics built up, but it's actually analytics that already belong in my industry.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is why I'm able to get, an influx of leads. But even still, like, if I were to pay for 100 leads and they were all garbage, then, 100 leads, it's not really 100 leads. But when I get, for example, 50 leads in February,
Yeah.
and they're all answering the phone,
Yeah.
right? They all want to set up meetings. I closed 8 jobs the month after, right? And that's just the timelines, right? So, you build the pipe for a month. So anybody who is to come on, you're going to build the pipe for a month, then you're going to start closing the next month. And that's just, by the time you set up a phone call could be a week, by the time you end up going for a meeting could be a week out, then maybe a quote a week out, then maybe they're another week out. It's roughly about 3 weeks to a month from the initial phone call, but absolute night and day. And the most important thing is, I think the most important thing that I could say is that, you could build it yourself. It's going to cost you a ton of money. It's going to cost you a ton of time.
Yeah.
And in business, it's not always feasible, like the cost as per reward, right?
Yeah.
Is not always feasible. And when I really started looking at other avenues and I started looking at everything, me and Walter got a little bit more serious in me and us partnering up. And there was just no other way, business-wise, time-wise, money-wise. There's no other option that I could find that fit all those parameters.
That sounds perfect. That sounds like a plan. What would be your next goal? So far we've reached about 75 to 80 leads a month. And from my understanding, you're laying down about 10 jobs with the average profit anything between 5 to 8,000 per each job. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So what would be your next goals, next steps? Or you want to keep it the same way as it is right now, or you want to boost it up a little bit more? What is the plan for the business development? That is my question, I believe.
Probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep it at 100 for a quarter and make sure that we're fully sustainable for those 100 leads in the quarter. That means that the quoting is going out on time. That means that the sales is getting much more polished than it already is now. We're going to make sure that closing ratio, we're going to bore it out as much as possible.
Mm-hmm.
And once I get those numbers, that closing ratio up, then I'm probably going to up the leads, maybe $1.25 after the second quarter, $1.25, or maybe $1.50. And then from there, we should be fully sustainable. Because right now I could call for 200 leads, but if I can't properly facilitate them, then it's a waste of money, right? So
yeah.
that's kind of where we're at right now, is that we want to make sure that we're properly able to handle those leads and the influx of volume, right? And the calls and the meetings and all that stuff. That's where we're at.
You need to be able to facilitate all of that and make sure you've got manpower to do that as well, because once you start closing those leads, it's a lot of work. And from my understanding, in the construction industry, in the bathroom kitchen renovation, it can take you anything between like a month and up to like month and a half, sometimes even 2 months to close a lead, right?
Yeah.
Because you need to confirm the design with the homeowner or with the customer. You need to make sure you're meeting their expectations in terms of what they need, right? Yeah,
no, for sure. And sometimes their timelines don't match up with yours. Sometimes you meet up with them and they're kind of acting like they're ready to go, and then we are in a global pandemic. All of a sudden something doesn't, work. Somebody loses a job, whatever. They're a couple months out, or, they weren't that gung-ho right off the bat and they're a couple months out. Right. So, that doesn't always happen. Like, it's not really a matter of if the leads are going to come. It's a matter of the leads are coming. Now you have to facilitate them, and you have to facilitate them yesterday. Right. So, but I mean, that's a great problem to have. I mean, there's a ton of guys that, just go off of Kijiji. They just go off of, like these smaller names to get an influx of leads. And what, I'm sure they get leads for free, but, a lot of door kickers, a lot of time wasters. And that's even if they're getting much interest. I mean, there's a lot of demand on Kijiji for services like construction, right? So there's very little competition for me. There's no competition really for the leads that I get. I mean, some of these people are sourcing other quotes, but that's fine. I mean, if my salesmanship's good and my numbers are good, then I'll get that job, right?
Yeah, and economically, it all makes sense for everyone. I think I found you on Kijiji for the first place. That's where I contacted you.
Yeah.
That's where I made you an offer if you wanted to try that out or not. Perfect. From my understanding, you can see the big difference between your like Kijiji thing that you were doing and the way we're doing it now, right?
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's perfect. Well,
Yeah,
let's.
because we actually had guys in Bangladesh, 5 of them, and they would run Kijiji ads 24/7, and it was very cheap. It cost us $350, but even that did not compare to what we're talking about now. Like that, I know guys. My old business partner utilized that, and he was actually able to keep some sort of jobs. I think he was at a closing ratio of 2%, or not 2%, 2 jobs a month. But even in saying that, like I don't do any of that anymore. My marketing is pretty well handled with you, right? I don't need to put money anywhere else as we speak right now. It
Yeah.
just has to go to you, and I'm getting what I'm paying, right? So
Well, the thing is, it pays for itself, and you're making more. That is an economical way. It makes a lot of sense for everyone, and we're grateful, actually, to help you out with that and being the partner. That's enough said, I would say.
yeah, no, it's definitely going good, and it is definitely night and day. I mean, that's probably the main thing that I'd have to say.
Perfect. Thank you very much for your feedback, and let's keep it going, right?
Yeah, yeah, you bet. I mean, anything else, let me know.
Nice, nice. Okay, well, thank you very much for that, and let's keep in touch. Let's keep it going. Thank you.